And I was walking in the downtown and I felt like I was missed somebody from somewhere. And I could have been from anywhere except where I was from. Nobody knew me. Nobody knew anything about me. I could be as sophisticated as I want to be. That was an amazing feeling. I think I'm taking fire under here. I am under this trellis and I keep feeling water falling on me, but because we've been having nothing but rain. Okay, so in this video I'm talking about my first time traveling. I am Gail of 876 Documents. I help Jamaicans in the US and other countries all over the world with their Jamaican passports and driver's license, TRN, birth certificates, Jamaican citizenship, all of that. I'm talking about the first time I traveled though. In the background you can hear a concert about to start. They were just tuning up, as we say in Jamaica just now. And now as I start my video they start singing. I'm at the park, as you can tell. I love being in nature. First time I traveled, I went to Curaçao. I grew up in St. Elizabeth with my grandmother on her little farm, and after that I went to Kingston to live with my mother, and I went to school out by 3 miles, and then I went to DuPont, which is a little further down the road on Olympic Gardens. But I grew up with a love of wanting to know more, see other cultures, and see different places. And my favorite book, I kid you not, was the Atlas. I would look through an Atlas all the time. I didn't have an Atlas at home. Whenever I went to Tom Redcombe Library or stuff like that, or the school library, I'd be looking at atlases and looking at all the countries. I remember I used to, when I had computer, I used to search up CIA World Factbook and look at the different countries, their population, their literacy rates, their geography, everything, their GDP, just because I yearned to travel, but I couldn't afford to. So when I started working, I worked for the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission. I worked there for 10 years. Everywhere I work for 10 years. This is getting loud. But everywhere I work for 10 years. And so I was making decent money at a very young age at this Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission. Everybody know it in Jamaica. And I was able to travel. Lord have mercy. You could have said nothing to me after that. So I did not know where to go, what to do, nothing. All I knew is that first thing you must have is a passport. And so I got my passport. And I'm just going to interrupt this video to make a PSA. If you're manifesting travel, you want travel as a part of your life, you've been longing to travel, you know, you're hoping one day somebody will buy your trip. First thing you need is a passport. You can't manifest travel if you're not ready to travel. You have to be prepared for the things you want, aka dressing for the job you want. You're not going to get a ticket to travel if you don't have any passport. If you're manifesting it and you want it to happen, then have a passport ready. Act like you're ready to travel and the universe will find a way to make it happen for you. Anyway, back to my first time traveling. So I decided to go to Curaçao. The music is following me. I didn't know what to do, where to go or anything, but I knew there were travel agents in Jamaica. So I called up my friend's brother, who was a travel agency in New Kingston, and I said, where can I go? Where's easy? Where I don't need a visa? Because back then it was everything about America, Canada, and England. And I had tried a visa before and I didn't get it. So of course that was another question. So he said, well, I know some people going to a small island. If you want to go that time, small island, buy and sell, Cayman and them places, that was very popular. And so I said, of course, if them are going, we'll go with them. I never go for buy and sell, but I said I would go anyway. So I scheduled my ticket and I turned up at the airport and I met them, 5 of us, and we went. I have to move again. It's getting louder. But I'll see if I can find a picture of my first trip. I will tell you what I loved most about being there. I said I grew up in 3 miles, you know, Cockburn, Penn Olympic Gardens area. And when you're from those areas, you can't help but feel a little less than. And I was a kid. I didn't have the self-esteem and the confidence I have now. I was very young. So, you know, I was still struggling to get out of what my coworkers used to call Pai City or the concrete jungle. And, you know, it became a part of you. But you are desperate to not make it to be the whole of you. This is not who you are. This is just where you live. And you're only living here for a while. And so it was a little bit a part of how people identified you. But when I traveled, I could have been anyone from anywhere. I was walking through, I can't say the name of this town properly, but I'm going to try. I'm going to say Willemstad, the capital of Curacao. I was in the downtown. Oh, I had gone to Curacao with these ladies and I had a good time, but it was mostly shopping and they didn't go for tourism. So, you know, they weren't doing what I'm doing. They never, you know, with me, you know. And so I decided to book a trip and go back by myself the second time. I was brave now. Woo! I get brave and I went to Curacao by myself. He booked my ticket again for me and I had a great time. So as I was saying, the best part of me being on that trip was that I could be anyone from anywhere. I remember walking downtown in this olive green spaghetti strap dress cut on the bias. I was so skinny, I could not do the dress justice, but the color looked so beautiful on my skin. My mother used to buy me jewelry, so I had a bunch of chains and necklaces and bangles. Not because we were rich, but this is what we did. This is something you did. You know, your kid had to have on some gold earrings and a chain and a gold earring or whatever. And I was walking in the downtown and I felt like I was missed somebody from somewhere. And I could have been from anywhere except where I was from. Nobody knew me. Nobody knew anything about me. I could be as sophisticated as I want to be. That was an amazing feeling. I remember walking into a store and the women in Curaçao, at least in the capital city, were beautiful. They had on makeup all the time and they had on a lot of jewelry. And I remember being in a store and I was looking at jewelry and this lady was buying. And I remember, I don't know if they told me in the store or somebody else told me that the women there, they don't have kids. The men stay living with their mothers and the women live on their own and the women spend their money on themselves. And they just made themselves beautiful. Of course, Curaçao is Dutch, so the people there were Dutch. But it was the most amazing feeling. I felt like a whole different person. I learned so many new things. I saw so many new things. It was, I think on that trip, there's this Instagram sound that I have used, and I think it came out last year where this Jamaican guy was talking about travel. He was saying that the world is beautiful. You see so many different people, so many different things. You learn so many different things, and you're not kidding. The quote I posted the other day said something like, traveling is not about learning new places, but it's about taking a new perspective or something like that. If you travel and you don't come back with a different point of view, a different perspective, and you haven't grown, you have not done travel very well. While I was there, I saw the hugest ship I had ever seen in my life. The ship pulled up at the pier, and I had to hold my head all the way back to see the top of it. Of course, I think cruise ship may have come to Jamaica back in those days to Negril or something, but I had never seen one because I was in Kingston. And when the ship came in, there was a river that separates one side of the city from the other side. And there was the bridge to go over the river. When the ship came in, they had to open the bridge for the ship to come through. When I tell you, I was shocked to know that bridge could have moved. The bridge opened up in the air. The bridge was like this, and it just opened up like this. And there was no bridge anymore. And this gigantic ship was just docked there, waiting to drop off its passengers and continue on its merry little way. I was in awe. But then the next thing was that because there was no bridge and we had to get to the other side, we had to take the ferry. Back in those days, you used to have a Kodak camera where you would buy it for $35 and you take pictures with it and your camera got develop it, whatever the photo studio did name, and you process something upon it. So I remember I probably had a picture of myself sitting on the ferry. And I know I have a picture of myself in the downtown in my album. I'll see if I can find it and I'll post it. But taking a ferry to go across to the other side, I had never done that. And for me, that was amazing. But another experience I had that I did not like in Curaçao. In the evenings, I went out to just go walk in the downtown and look around. And this is, I still don't understand this. And if you've ever seen this, comment. And if they still do this, let me know. But people had snakes for pets, and they had the snakes around their neck. And I'm not talking some tiny snake like my necklace. I'm talking about stuff that's big like my damn leg. I couldn't get it. I mean, I'm skinny, so they were bigger than my arm. Snakes and worm are my greatest fear. I don't like worm. I don't want to see worm. Worm will literally make me cry. And trust me, lizard, cockroach, rat, Spider, nothing make me cry. Bullfrog, nothing make me cry. But if me see a worm right now, me go run out one ball. Like, I don't know why it makes me want to cry. So when I saw them with those snakes, I was so creeped out. I left the downtown so fast. I practically ran back to where I was staying because I couldn't stand it. I don't know what was the point of having snakes on the street. And then, you know, like how the boys out here would hang out and they have their dogs on a leash and they're all out there smoking and chatting. That was them with the snakes. Everywhere I went, there was more people with the snakes. I went back to my hotel, and that was one thing I hope I never experience again. But that did not mar my experience of Curacao. But again, the first time I traveled, I felt like a whole different person. I came back with a new perspective. When I went back to work, I couldn't chat to me. Did face stay funny? But go back to work, my face stay funny. You couldn't chat to me. Because now I was traveled, I was experienced, I had seen more of the world than my co-workers had seen. And all who never liked me, all who never want to chat to me, couldn't chat to me now. Because I was traveled. Traveling is a flex. It was a flex back then, it's still a flex. I love it. There are so many places to travel to. There's so much to see, so much to learn. You have to open yourself to taking a new perspective, seeing a new perspective and taking a new perspective. Understand that where you live and what you've experienced is not the say-all and be-all of everything. There are different perspectives and different experiences and different opinions in all the different cultures. There are 198 countries in the world, and they all have a different culture. They all have different foods, different languages, different flag, different modes of dress, different holidays. There's so much of everything. Travel, take your kids to travel, and open yourself up to the experience and allow yourself to not just change, but to grow from it. Don't harden yourself off and be like, oh, I'm not like that, I'm not like that, I'm not believe that. Accept that it's someone else's culture. Appreciate it, welcome the new idea, the new opinion, the new take, and the new perspective, and allow yourself to grow from it. But just travel a little bit, go anywhere. My first trip was to Curaçao, and it was an hour-and-a-half flight, and then I went back to Curaçao. I wanted to go again somewhere. I had wet my foot there, and I had known a little of there, and I didn't feel afraid of it. So I went back there for the second trip. Now, part of my rule when I travel is do not go back to the same place twice. But I do hope to go back to Bermuda one day because the people are absolutely amazing. And I have to go back to England. It's my favorite place that I visited. I've gone there twice. And I do hope to go back. But other than that, I want to go to each place one time and stay probably 4 nights and 5 days, and that is it. But yeah, travel. And I also say this, and I don't want it to be controversial, but I have said many times that your kids learn a lot more traveling than they probably learn in the classroom. Because if you get to experience something one time, a teacher could teach it to you 100 times and you never hear it. Experience it one time and you'll never forget it. I was telling my sister the other day about this reenactment of 17th century Maine when it was colonized by Spain, right before the takeover by England. And they do this reenactment of the changing of the guards, literally the changing from French to English. And they reenact the entire thing. The women dress the part, the men are dressed, they have their muskets, they had everything. And I said to my sister that if your kids went here and saw this, they would never have to remember what year anything happened. They could write pages and pages of what happened because they actually lived it. I am Gail. Thanks for watching.